get ourselves energized, mobilized for the day. Morning if you are joining on Facebook and YouTube. And let's start off with, as we did on Tuesday actually, just mix it up a little bit. Let's start off with shaking. So just start really gently with the feet grounded and connected to the floor. Using the legs almost like as pumps to pump the energy around the body. And then let the shoulders relax. So the shoulders, just let the shoulders bounce up and down a little bit. The head nod a little bit. And this may be enough for you for the moment, but if you want to make it a little bit more vigorous, if you feel that that's going to work for you, then you can just start to tap the heels into the ground. So we create that little bit more vibration through the joints and the bones, deep into your muscular skeletal frame. You can bring the wrists in a little bit more. Really let the shoulders relax, upper back relax. You may feel as if you want to take a couple of full breaths, just increasing the volume in through the nose and just let that sigh out, just cleansing, clearing any tightness and tension, just physically and emotionally, just letting go, just letting go. And then keep that movement going, but just slow it down a little bit. So most probably go like half speed. And then just gradually slow and come to standing. Find your comfortable balance, usually with your hips, with your feet about hip width apart. And just letting your body rock and sway a little bit, just so it finds its natural balance. Just keeping your eyes open, keeping that focus ahead. And letting the breath settle. So we've done a little bit of movement there, so the breath will be increased a little bit. Just let the breath settle. And then we'll step out a little bit wider than shoulder width. So most probably go about shoulder and a half width apart. A little bit of bend in the knees, just start shifting the weight side to side. So at the minute, your shoulders are balanced over the pelvis. So the pelvis moves, the shoulders go with it. Pelvis moves, shoulders go with it. So that torso is literally sitting on top of the pelvis. And then we just let that torso free so that the spine waves. So hips lead and spine just waves, getting that lateral flexion through the spine. Remember why we're doing these movements is really to mobilize the spine, get the energy flowing through the spine, get the hips and the legs nice and strong. So you go all the way from the lower spine, up the spine, and then the head, which is often the one that resists a little bit. So you don't want to make it floppy, but you just want to get that idea that the neck gives that gentle movement, that lateral flexion side to side through the neck as well. Remember, the neck is still part of the spine. It's the cervical part of the spine. And then slow it down, slow it down. Walk your feet in a little bit, just so your shoulder width, and let's go into knocking. So rotating the spine. And the key to this one is to keep that spine long. So as you rotate, you lengthen up and rotate. Think of almost like unscrewing a cap or using a corkscrew. Is you extend upwards and rotate, extend up and rotate. Let the shoulders relax. And use that lower body, use the connection to the ground through the feet and the hips. There's the strength, there's the power. And then the upper body just flows, feels nice and tall and light and energized. Don't have to do any work with the arms, they're just swinging from the shoulders. Elbows are bending, elbows are soft. Our breath is just easy, in and out through the nose. Bringing the arm that swings across the front of the body now, just into a light fist and just tapping that long point. So that is just underneath the collarbone, just lightly tapping. Visualize the tip of your lungs in that rib cage. Lots of lymphatic nodes, lymph nodes in this area as well. So good to stimulate lymphatic drainage. Still powering through the lower body, the legs and the hips. Arm that swings across the front of the body now. Cup the hand and you are coming into those nice big shoulder muscles. Back hand is still tapping on that lower back. You might need a little bit more power through the lower body so that you're not having to do much work with the upper body. Breath is easy in and out through the nose. I'm just glancing across at the screen on Zoom and watching Christine and Julie there in Turkey. Looks fantastic. We can all imagine that we're there. Back down to long points, chest. Back down to belly. And now gradually slowing down, and just to counterbalance almost like the energy we were using there through the legs, just bring it down into a little bit more relaxation into water waves. So really take your time. This is always such a lovely one to do outside because you can feel the air and the wind even more through the hands, through the fingers, on the skin. That external energy that is all around. soft, light, natural breathing in and out through the nose. Not having to breathe in any particular way at all. It's just happening easily. All you're doing is just bringing awareness to your breath. And slowing it down. Taking a moment just to see how you feel. Just check in with the body. How's it feeling in the spine? That connection to the ground. Stepping out when you're ready. Let's do a bit of picking cherries. So picking cherries, we're really working on expanding here, the ribs. Just imagine the space between each of the ribs. So there's not a lot of give in there because it's a bit more like elasticity. So it's not like a big muscle in between each ribs, but there is muscle, there are intercostal muscles between the ribs. So you want to feel as that little bit of expansion between each individual rib rather than that whole rib cage moving as a block. So that's what we're aiming for here. You're stretching and lengthening up here. We're not hiking the shoulder up. Get nice and strong through the ground as well. So always use the ground to counterbalance what we're doing with the upper body. So you're just reaching up and up. And there's very little movement with the lower body as well. That lower body is nice and strong. And you can look up. So it does what it says on the tin. You're imagining that you're just picking small cherries from a tree. It's always nice to have that intention of movement, intention of what you're doing, because the mind then tells the body, this is how you have to respond because I'm going to reach and pick a cherry, rather than this is how I have to respond because I'm doing an exercise and it's really boring. So it will change your feelings, it will change your mood, it will change your emotional response. And you may feel one side is freer than the other. I certainly feel that. It's normal. We're not completely balanced, nor will we ever be completely balanced. So we're not striving for perfection. Noticing the differences. Noticing maybe where you need to do a little bit more freeing up, focusing. Breathing easy again, so not straining, no strain, no overreaching. And then when you're ready, just bringing the arms down by the side. So that should hopefully feel really nice. It also helps to open up if you've got any tightness here in the lower back area, in the between the space of the hip and the ribs. It's really nice just to open that up. Keeps us tall, keeps us lengthened, keeps that spine energized upwards. Let's just do a little bit of spinal cord breathing. With this one, again, we'll keep the neck long as we come to this back position. So rather than looking up, we're still extending here, but we're keeping that neck long. So you'll get that nice little stretch here through the back of the neck and the muscles each side of the spine in the neck. So we go a little bit deeper on the knees. And let's just get the movement going. I nearly did it the wrong way around then. We curl under, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin. Extend the neck. Once you get into the rhythm of the movement, then bring the breath with it, and everybody you go at your comfortable pace. So as we extend and expand, we're going to breathe in. And as we soften and contract, we breathe out. all in and out through the nose. And again, it's just natural. We're not forcing the breath at all. So it should be quiet, should be soft breathing. Getting that tilt in the pelvis. Smooth, fluid movement. Couple more. And then take a rest. Good, that should feel really nice now on the spine. Should feel really connected to the ground, nice and strong through the legs. So we're ready to go into our tiger. So really work on now just challenging yourself just a little bit more in terms of the depth. So we're finding that comfortable depth is going just that little bit deeper, bearing in mind that we're not going to force anything. We're not going to strain our bodies. It's just that little bit of challenge. And the slower we do it, the more you can tune in and go, oh, maybe if I just adjust this little bit or just that little bit, I'll be able to get that little bit more depth. But we want to be safe throughout the movement. We want to be in control throughout the movement. So when you get low, what I don't want you to do is have to throw yourself back up out of that movement. You want to be able to sit low and then use the floor, use the heels to push yourself up out of that movement. So you're using the floor to push away. Start slowly. Don't go straight into depth. Use the fingers. This is always good to engage those back muscles. So it's like a bit of fun that you've got tiger claws, but feel the difference if you don't have tiger claws. You lose that connection and that strength through the back. This really keeps the back of the spine nice and strong, all of those back muscles nice and strong. So let's just go comfortable depth to start off with. And then pushing up. And have the idea that you could look in that direction, you could change direction at any time. So if I'm down here, I can't change direction. I want to have that upper body almost like facing forward so I can look around me. Debbie looked great there. That looked quite threatening, actually. But that's exactly the idea. That's exactly the idea that we want to have. So it keeps that spine nice and strong. It keeps you in control. It keeps you safe. Hips glide back. Knees bend. Pushing through the heels. Breath is easy, so still keep that breath easy. You might find that you're breathing with the movement, which is fine. So say if you're breathing out as you sink down and breathing in as you come up, that's fine, or the other way around, that's not an issue. Or you're just breathing naturally in and out through the nose. But what we don't want at this stage is that you're having to use the breath to actually create the movement, if that makes sense. So the breath should be light and easy. If we start to get out of breath, then we just take a rest, or we just go a little little less deep. It really is one of the most simplest but most effective movements that we can play with. Stand tall, always come tall at the top. Use the fingers to strengthen the back, to keep that nice, strong, long spine. If it feels good, just a couple more. Got a nice crack through my knee then. And then when you're ready, take a rest. So again, really emphasizing the difference between doing a squat as an exercise where we just count in reps and pushing and pushing and pushing often, as opposed to doing something that is a little bit more fun, has a little bit more intention behind it, and that is guided by the breath. And if you had any pain in the knee or the ankle or the hip, the breath would change. Remember that first sign of any neuromuscular overload, you see it in the breath. So if your breath changes because you've got pain, then you just stop that movement. Let's do some walking tigers now, but as we haven't got space in front of us, we just do that step. So what we do is we step forwards. So I'll mirror you, step forwards with the left leg, shift the weight forwards. We're still coming down the front line, but the majority of weight is on that left leg. Right heel just lifts off the ground. And then you come back up. And then you would step back. So if I was walking, I would be stepping forwards, coming down, coming up. I'm just showing you quickly, but I'd be stepping forwards, coming down. But because we haven't got space in front of us, I'm just stepping back before we step to the other side. And remember, it's coming down the front, but I could look that way, I could look that way, so I'm not bending over down here. It's very much alert and aware that you could change direction at any time. Get into a nice rhythm. So you've got the majority of weight on that step forward leg. The ankle hinges, knee hinges, hip hinges. And that back leg is just counterbalancing. It's just helping you balance. Do one more each side. And then take a rest and give your legs a good shake out. Nice, and take a little moment. Let yourself just balance, let the breath come back. And there's another really nice tiger stretch that we can do. And this really is, I'll show you from the side, but keep watching from the front. This really is just go to your own comfortable place. Now, often you can be tight down the hamstrings. We don't want to be too flexible down the hamstrings. Quite often we're always pushing because we want to feel as if we need to stretch those hamstrings out. But again, with this one, just go to your comfortable place, your comfortable space. So you bring the palms out in front, hinge the hips, keep the knees soft, and just go for that nice long spine. Now some people might be able to fold or even fold in half, but it's not about forcing again. It's about just going to that place where you feel that length down the back line, down the back of the body. And also, this is what is good about using these tiger claws, is that you feel that nice stretch through the upper body as well. So keep that spine long and just breathe into it. And then just come back up. So let's just do a few of those just with that little pause, but not a pause of the breath. Like tiger pause. P-A-U-S-E. So come out forwards, reach forwards, and then soften. So it's almost like you go into that little spine roll there. Doesn't have to be too far. Reach forwards, lengthen out. So feel that nice length through the hamstrings, through the back muscles, and then you can soften and roll up. Let's do a couple more. Reach forwards first, hinge the hips back. You're lengthening out that back line of the body, and then let the knees bend a little bit and then roll up. So your tiger is you're reaching out. Long spine. Good. It's a really nice way of just getting some length through that back line of the body where we often quite get tight. Breathing easy. Reach forwards, strong fingers. A nice way of doing a stretch without just holding a stretch. It makes it much more dynamic. Let's do two more. Keep the spine long. Keep showing you from the side. So here everything is nice and long, strong, and then you just soften a little bit and roll up. Good. Give your legs a little bit of a shake out. Pull down the heavens. Connect to your center. And just give yourself a moment just to tune into bamboo in the wind, that letting the body find its balance after you've done all of that work. Just think of the movement and the improvement that you've made today in our practice. Now taking a full breath in through the nose, full of breath in, opening your eyes, stepping out, giving yourself a gentle brush down, all ready for the rest of what you've got planned for today. Whether you're going straight to work, whether you're going to get out and have a run or a walk or do some shopping, whatever you've got planned, have a fantastic rest of the day. I know I'm going to see a few of you tomorrow, quite a lot of you tomorrow, for our Lunch and Learn at 1 till 2 p.m. UK time. We've got Andrew Ritchie We're talking heart rate variability, hermetic stress. So it's all good geeky stuff if you're into that, but it's also a lot of stuff that shows you can really measure how your health is at that particular time, how you can then use that heart rate variability and hermetic stress to improve your health and well-being. So jump in and join us for that if you're not already signed up. I'll put the link again at the bottom of this on Facebook. Have a brilliant day. Thanks for joining. Thanks for your time and attention. I'll see you tomorrow. If I don't see you tomorrow, then I will see you next Tuesday when we're focusing a little bit more on the qigong flow and the breath. Thanks for joining. Bye. Enjoy Turkey.
Yeah.
Looks fantastic in Turkey. We're all with you.